What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 18 Millionaire Maker.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
Okay guys, this is for the Millionaire Maker slate, which is the Sunday main slate at 1 p.m. Oh, and stick around to the very end of this video. After I show you all my picks in the Draft Dashboard tools, I'll show you these players in DraftKings and in FanDuel, the Millionaire Maker slates. There'll be 2 spots open that you have to fill in, but you'll have a great Millionaire Maker core. Okay guys, NFL Week 18. Let's take a look at the quarterback position. So my Millionaire Maker quarterback is Justin Fields from the Chicago Bears, playing the Minnesota Vikings, who have the worst defense overall. They give up the 4th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Justin Fields has averaged 21.2 fantasy points per game on the season. And I like this pick because he's getting an average of 10.7 rush attempts per game. Only going to be about 4% owned, projected at 20.4 fantasy points here in Week 18. He's 7,700 DraftKings salary, 300 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 46 points scored in this game, with the Bears trailing by 6. So Justin Fields has scored 21, 10, and 24 fantasy points in the last 3 games. He got 10, 7, and 15 rush attempts in those games. So it's a fantastic matchup. Now the Chicago Bears have long since been out of the playoffs, but that's why I think he's a good fantasy pick this week. There's no pressure. He's playing a team that's already locked their playoff seed up. So they might go easy on him here this week. He could put up some big numbers. Fantastic matchup, somewhat high-scoring game, and a good game script as Vegas expects the Bears to be trailing in this one, putting pressure on Justin Fields to score the ball. So I like Justin Fields here versus the Minnesota Vikings. Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. My Millionaire Maker running back, I'm going to save some salary with this pick. A guy who's gotten quite a bit of volume the past 2 weeks. My Millionaire Maker running back is Kenneth Walker from the Seattle Seahawks, playing the LA Rams, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. They give up the 12th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Kenneth Walker has averaged 14.4 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 14.2 rush attempts per game and 2.4 pass targets per game. Now, Kenneth Walker's going to be about 16% owned. Don't worry, we got low ownership picks at our other 2 positions and low salary picks at the other 2 positions. So Kenneth Walker is projected at 13.6 fantasy points here this week. But if he can get 20 plus touches like he has the past 2 weeks, I think he can score 16 fantasy points or more in this one. He's 6,400 DraftKings salary, 1,300 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 41.5 points scored in this game, with the Seahawks favored by 6.5. Now, Kenneth Walker has scored 18, 16, and 12 fantasy points in the last 3 games, off of 23, 26, and 12 rush attempts, on top of 1, 2, and 5 pass targets. So he's gotten monster volume over the past 2 weeks. 24 touches last week, 28 touches the week before that, and he had 17 touches in the previous week as well. So he's getting good volume. So this is a volume play for me. And I think it's going to be a good game script for him to run the ball as well. And I believe that the Seattle Seahawks still have a shot at the playoffs. They are in the hunt, sitting at 8-8. So they certainly want a win here this week. So I like Kenneth Walker here versus the LA Rams.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And we'll send you $25 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. So here's where we're going to save some salary on a sleeper pick that I think has some pretty good upside. So my Millionaire Maker wide receiver is Rashid Shaheed from the New Orleans Saints, playing the Carolina Panthers, who have the 10th worst defense overall, give up the 4th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Rashid Shaheed, he's averaged 8.5 fantasy points per game on the season on only an average of 2.7 pass targets per game. So that's pretty good production for only 2.7 pass targets per game, but those pass targets have come up quite a bit the past 3 weeks, so we'll take a look at that in a second. But Rashid Shaheed, only going to be about 2% owned, projected at 8.5 fantasy points here this week. I think he can score 12 fantasy points or more in this one. Only $4,200 DraftKings salary, $1,600 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 41.5 points scored in this game, with the Saints favored by 3.5. Now Rashid Shaheed has scored 14, 8, and 19 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 6, 5, and 4 pass targets. So it's a good matchup. The Carolina Panthers gave up like 400 yards and 3 touchdowns or something crazy to Tom Brady last week. I think they are looking for Rashid Shaheed. He got 6, 5, and 4 pass targets, so he's been increasing his pass targets each game for the past 3 weeks, so you know they want to get this guy involved. Price tag, I think, is just right, because really, he's coming on this season. You know, he wasn't a big part of their offense earlier in the season, but I think they want to see what they have in this guy. It's a good matchup. I think he's got some big upside. So I like Rashid Shaheed here versus the Carolina Panthers.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all the tools for NFL. NBA is right around the corner. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, moving on to the tight end position. My Millionaire Maker tight end, another sleeper pick, is Hayden Hurst from the Cincinnati Bengals, playing the Baltimore Ravens, who have a good defense overall, and they've been good versus opposing tight ends. Now Hayden Hurst, he's been out for at least 3 weeks here. He's been out for a little while, but he averaged 8 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 5 pass targets per game. And he's only going to be about 2% owned, projected at 7.4 fantasy points this week. He's $3,100 DraftKings salary. So the reason that I like Hayden Hurst is we saw him briefly in the Monday night game that was canceled
we saw him catch a couple of balls, go for, I don't know, it was like 30 plus yards, and it was just the first quarter. So they're looking to get this guy involved after his time off from injury. They want to get this guy back on the field, get him some pass targets, get him back involved in the offense. So I think he's going to get at least 5 or 6 pass targets in this game. Now, I know it's not a great matchup, but he's only $3,100 DraftKings salary. So I like Hayden Hurst here versus the Baltimore Ravens. And just real quick, if you don't want to go with Hayden Hurst, the other tight ends that I like, Tyler Higbee, Dallas Goedert, TJ Hawkinson. I actually think that TJ Hawkinson has a lot of upside versus the Chicago Bears because I've been saying this for the past 3 weeks, but they acquired TJ Hawkinson midway throughout the season. So they're going to keep him on the field, even though the Vikings have their playoff seed locked up. They want him to continue to learn the offense. He got 12, 16, and 9 pass targets in the last 3 weeks. Been putting up some pretty big numbers. I think that continues here on the last game of the season. So if you don't need to save the salary at this position, if you don't want to go so risky with Hayden Hurst, who's somewhat of a question mark, although I think he's going to have a great game, you could pay up for a guy like TJ Hawkinson at $5,700 DraftKings salary, $1,500 more on FanDuel, or you could go with a guy like Tyler Higbee from the LA Rams playing the Seattle Seahawks, who have the 8th worst defense overall, and they give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Tyler Higbee has averaged 9 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 6.3 pass targets per game, on the field for 87% of the snaps, going to be about 8% owned, projected at 10.1 fantasy points here this week. He's $4,400 DraftKings salary, $1,200 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 41.5 points scored in this game, with the Rams trailing by 6.5. Now, Tyler Higbee has scored 4, 30, and 13 fantasy points in the last 3 games, off of 4, 11, and 5 pass targets. So good matchup for Tyler Higbee. I think he's a good value play this week. So I like Tyler Higbee here versus the Seattle Seahawks.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NFL slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again and good luck. You've unlocked the bonus content. Okay, guys. Here we are in the DraftKings lineup optimizer. Over here on Draft Dashboard, we have our Millionaire Maker core locked in here. We've generated a lineup. So let's see who we got. We got Justin Fields, Najee Harris, Kenneth Walker, Amari Cooper, Drake London, Rashid Shaheed, Hayden Hurst, Saquon Barkley, and the Chargers defense. I love this lineup. I'm going to save it so I can optimize it later if anything changes. Okay, now here we are in the FanDuel lineup optimizer. Over here on Draft Dashboard, we have our Millionaire Maker core locked in here, and we've generated a lineup. So let's see who we got. We got Justin Fields, Kenneth Walker, Cam Akers, Keenan Allen, Rashid Shaheed, Jacoby Myers, Hayden Hurst, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and the Steelers defense. So I like this lineup. Cam Akers looks a little overpriced at $7,300. I think I would prefer Najee Harris because the Pittsburgh Steelers are still in the playoff hunt, and he was looking good last week, scored 19 fantasy points. He's been pretty productive the past 4 weeks. So I'm going to swap that to Najee Harris. I'm going to save this lineup so I can optimize it later if anything changes.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NFL slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.